What's going on, everybody? Zach Conway here, back again with another review, and I'm back from communicating with Eywa. That's right, we're learning about the not the people. We're back with our boy, Big Jim. Big Jim is back. James Cameron is back, and he's making Avatar 3. It's finally out. After a 3-year wait between now and The Way of Water, Avatar 3 is officially upon us. Fire and Ash. Avatar Fire and Ash is I really don't know how I'm gonna break this one down. I really don't. Especially like in 10 minutes. Because like normally my reviews are like 10 minutes long. I really don't know how I'm gonna fucking break this one down into about 10 minutes and like take it down and no or not take it down, but just like, like break it down for everybody. Cause like man, this is just so like, okay, I'm a big fan of James Cameron. I really admire his like I don't want to sound like an old person when I say this, but I really admire his like tenacity and like the way that he is for the art is something that is unparalleled between other filmmakers. Like you don't really hear stories of like that. I heard a story recently of him saying to an executive that was working with him on the first Avatar that was having they were having issues. He literally looked at this guy and was like, "Listen, when this movie makes all the money, you can't come for my like you can't congratulate me because you needed my or I needed your help now and you could have helped me now as opposed to congratulating me, so go fuck yourself," or something. I apologize, I'm paraphrasing the story, but like that's just the coolness of James Cameron. Like he like genuinely he is for the art and he is pushing the art forward, and I think that's beautiful. Now, Avatar Fire and Ash is the third film in the Avatar franchise. That's right. We have now had 3 of these movies. And let me just say, I think that on first viewing, this is my favorite out of the 3. There's some stuff that Cameron does with the action in this film that is unparalleled, and I haven't seen it in a film before. There's something that specifically happens within the first action scene of the film. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All I will say in the con is I when the lady says I am the fire, like to describe it in a non-spoiler way, it's essentially like James Cameron doing like the Witness Me guys from like the War Boys from Fury Road. Like I was from that point forward I was locked in. Whatever, it could be the weirdest shit ever and I'd be locked into it. And because of that like essentially like War Boy homage, I guess you could call it a homage. I would assume. I don't know if he's taking it from Mad Max directly, but it reminded me a lot of Fury Road. That like lady, if you know what I'm talking about. So speaking of the Micaiah clan, we're gonna talk about Varang, who is played by Una Chaplin. And holy fucking shit, man. Sure, her performance is awesome. Just like I really appreciate Una Chaplin is exactly what this franchise needed. Like, if this movie had another villain that's like not like, don't get me wrong, Quaritch's great villain. Like Stephen Lang is one of our greatest performers, especially in this film. Him and that actually, you know what, that ties in. I think that Varang and Quaritch's story in this is one of my favorite parts of the film. I think that both Stephen Lang and Una Chaplin give incredible performances, and it's even more incredible when you think of the context in which they're giving their performances, where it's just basically performance capture, and they're sitting in a warehouse in like Manhattan Beach or whatever, as opposed to like the movie that we're seeing and they're on the planet Pandora. Like this movie is I love James Cameron, and I'm sorry to sound like just like a fucking basic bitch film bro, but like I just love James Cameron, and I love his sense of scope and verisimilitude and just everything about the man, and every like he's just one of the coolest people, and I really think that we should let Jim make anything he wants for as long as he wants to make it, because if it's on the quality of these films, I will happily be there opening night. And listen, I hear a lot of people say that this film, as a criticism, that this film is similar to The Way of Water. And to that, I say, do people not realize that this was written as one gigantic script and they had to split it up into two films? So that's probably why some of the story beats are the same. I honestly, I understand the criticism of people saying this is the same as the Way of Water, because there are parts of it that are similar. But at the same time, I think that Jim brings in enough new shit into it. Like, it's not the same. I watched The Way of Water for the first time since theaters the night before last, when Wednesday night, when I saw, well, because I saw Avatar Thursday. I'm recording this Friday morning. But I don't, like I said, I think that James Cameron introduces enough new shit into the final battle of Fire and Ash that it's not as much the same as The Way of Water as people are saying it is. I'm sorry, man. I really liked this movie, and I apologize that if people were expecting me to come on here and be like, "Fuck James Cameron, this is bullshit. I really they need to stop making these movies." No, if you think that, you're just like a loser who doesn't understand. Well, no, I can't say that, because I do know people that don't like these movies that I respect. So I can't call everybody that doesn't like this movie a loser. That's not very nice. But if you don't, you got to be on a certain wavelength, and like it hit me after, like, during this movie, that like, if you go see this movie and you didn't like the other two, 99.9% chance you're not going to like this one either. Like, he's found a formula, and obviously it works. Otherwise, we would not be on the third one of these. So, like, for people that are like, yeah, man, that's another thing I want to tackle in this review, is people that are like, yeah, man, Avatar has no cultural impact. Brother, these movies are meant for the theater. You go to the theater and then you see them, and then in 2 or 3 years, another one comes out and does the same thing. It's just that people aren't used to, like, Avatar isn't the type of movie that people spend. It's not like fucking Marvel, which is that's another thing that we'll get to later in this review, when I'll talk about that later. But I really don't understand the criticisms people are lauding at this movie. I really enjoyed it. I honestly, like I said, think it's my favorite Avatar movie of the three so far. And I really hope that James Cameron is able to keep making these, because the way that they end this one, it seems like Avatar 4 will be an incredible movie, just as incredible as this one. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm just happy that James Cameron is still making movies, and I hope that he makes movies for the rest of my life. And I will be there forever and always for my boy Big Jim, my fellow Canadian brother. I'm gonna give this one 5 out of 5. In case you didn't realize already, this is genuinely one of the coolest experience, like just like one of the best theatrical experiences you can have right now, like, for real. And please go see this movie if you don't have your tickets and you're listening to this. I don't. You're crazy. But yeah, 5 out of 5. So I really enjoyed it. Um, so I saw this movie in IMAX last night, and with IMAX comes the coveted, like, trailer roll. Obviously, Avatar: Fire and Ash is the last movie, like the last big movie of 2025. So every movie that is like a quote unquote real movie wants to get their trailer in front of Avatar. And so I got to watch, within a 10-minute period, one of, like, now, and I didn't say this in the review early on, but I just want to thank everybody, speaking of what I'm about to talk about, for my, like, the fact that my Odyssey video got like 10,000 views. Thank you very much. Everybody seems to have the same opinion that I do, that Chris Nolan is going to save movies. So, and my opinion, or that opinion, is backed up by the fact that, so, like I said, they played the trailer for that same Odyssey prologue that I reviewed, that everybody went and watched. They played that before Avatar last night, and everybody, first of all, when it started and the Cinecopy logo came up, everybody started cheering. And then when it ended, everybody clapped and cheered and whatever. And then the Doomsday teaser happened, and there was literally one guy, and this IMAX theater was completely sold out. And it was one guy that was like, woo, that's it. And it was the funniest thing ever. But yeah, so I really think that Avatar Fire and Ash is just an incredible cinematic experience, and I hope that James Cameron, my fellow Canadian brother, as I said, just is able to make these movies, or any movie that he wants, rather, forever. And I just really am happy that this turned out as well as it did. It could have been a dumpster fire, and I'm very glad it wasn't. Please like, share, and subscribe, and please continue following the will of the great Eywa, and I will see you guys in the next review. Toodles!